Hello, my name's Dougie Brimson. This week on the Stock Car Show we'll be featuring two Formula that are featured regularly, not just here at the Northampton International Raceway, but at oval circuits throughout Britain. Indeed, the Formula we'll be kicking off with are one of the most popular you'll find in motor racing anywhere. Wherever they perform, you're guaranteed a full grids and spectacular racing. They are, of course, the Formula 2 Stock Cars. Formula 2 Stock Cars are, in effect, baby version of the Formula 1s. They're still a contact formula, they've got the big bumpers and the big wings on top, but there are a number of major differences between the two. The first and most obvious is size. They've still got a fully box section steel chassis and they're designed to take an incredible amount of punishment. But this, together with a fully independent suspension, makes them incredibly agile on track, and you'll often see them going 2, 3, even 4 into a bend at the same time. One of the big things about Formula 2 is the on-track action is often ferocious. The other big difference between Formula 1 and Formula 2 stock cars is under the bonnet. The Formula 2s are driven by highly tuned versions of Ford's 2-litre Pinto engine, putting out about 180 brake horsepower. On an oval track, that'll bang these cars along at 70, 80 miles an hour, as you'll see in this action coming up right now.
The first thing you'll notice about this Formula 2 race is that it's being run in the opposite direction to the bangers. The second thing that you'll notice is there's an awful lot of angle iron involved in these cars. It's still full contact. We're getting up to running speeds. And the final thing you notice, it's an enormous field of cars. We haven't even completed the warm-up lap, and already the front-running guys are tagging the back guys. Both cars are in the race. There's 2 on 8, that's the Rob Speak World Championship Formula 2 car, current Formula 2 champion, and Mick Sauder just behind him in car 152. Now they've got to get their way through the field to hit the front of the pack. They've done it times out of number here at the International Raceway Stadium, but as Mick Sauder was saying, they can usually leave the rest of the field standing. Formula 2 is one of the most popular forms of motorsport up here at the International Raceway Stadium. Huge fields, and getting it all completely wrong there. There's an absolute melee of cars. 553 went completely the wrong way. Steve Broomfield from Northampton nosing straight head on into the barrier. Same for number 15, that's Steve Green from Bedworth. 20 laps, a rolling start here. No clutch used as far as the Formula 2s are concerned to get them off the line. 557 got a slightly buckled wheel by the look of it, just nudging the 900 car. Still getting it crossed up all over the place at the exit to turn 4 on this, the anti-clockwise running of the circuit. 781 Simon Walker, I should say. There's 608, that's Jim Atwell, who's been a winner up here in the past, not that many times. And his car very new towards the latter part of last season, still looking pretty new today. And as you can see, we've got fairly long shadows this afternoon. Still dry, still dusty, and these cars still allowed to make full contact with each other. It's not quite in the same league as banger racing. This is proper motorsport, and I mean that in the kindest possible way. Banger racing is all about putting your fellow drivers out of the race. Formula 2, it's all about getting past the guys in front of you without necessarily putting them in the wall. Jim Atwell making very, very good use of the track there. And he leads at this early stage in the race. We're still looking for 152 and 218 who are having their own battle. There they are, just going through the top of our picture. Before very long, it'll be Rob Speak and Mick Sauder bringing the Atwell car under all sorts of pressure, I guarantee it. 677 just going through, they're nearly nudging 78 out of the way. 78 takes a slightly wider line, that's Robin Scott from Billingham, as an absolute pile of cars come storming through. Now 900, that's the Bryn Thomas car, making contact with 85, I think Colin Dunford, who's in that 85 car, made a little bit of contact with the Bryn Thomas car, the 900 motor. He's now got the worst of it, and he's taking a very outside line around the circuit. I wonder whether there's anything mechanically wrong with that car as a result of really truly a fairly small nudge. There's our leader, Jim Atwell, going through in the 608 car. And we're now looking to see what the gap is to Rob Speak. It's not very much. There he goes. Roy Slocum there in the 513 car. And he's in second position behind Atwell, who's got about a second and a half's lead, which in Formula 2 terms is an enormous great gap. Now, most of these cars still in the race. There's a few on the infield, as you can see from our picture there. The majority of them still in the race. 239 there, making good headway around the circuit. You can see how the Jeff Coleman car there, 239, lots of opposite lock. You hang the back out. These are rear-wheel drive cars. Hang the back out, looking for maximum grip, and then you absolutely tow it down the main straight to try and take position for following racers. Only a handful of laps still to go. 601's in third position there, which makes that 239 is in fourth, and Rob Speak 218 is in fifth. That's not going to be the way for very much longer. Speak comes up the inside, takes 239. Will there be contact? I don't think there was, but Speak takes the inside line. He's going to get 239 into turn one. There you go. Exactly as I said it. And there's Mick Sauter now looking to take position from 239 as well. Both of these guys, Rob Speak and Mick Sauter, always at the front of the grid. And Speak giving 601 just a wake-up call there. 601 now cuts in. That gives Mick Sauter more work to do. Rob Speak nearly picking up. In fact, he does pick up one of the back marker cars there. That's the 513. Is that the Slocum car being nudged out there? Yeah, Roy Slocum from Milton Keynes. Rob Speak now up into second position. There you go. Jim Atwell in first. Rob Speak in second. Where's Mick Sauter? He's in fourth position at the moment, but that's not going to be the case for very much longer. I'm sure he's going to be in there. 677 as pirouettes out. No damage. Oh, catches another car. Catching up behind him, 918. That's putting out the race really and truly. So what's the activity at the front line? Are we going to see a win for the Atwell car? Or is it going to be Rob Speak coming through in the lead? Trying to pick up the leader for you. Very difficult to see these cars when they come head on to you. They come on very fast indeed. There's Jim Atwell, and I think Rob Speak's got the lead. Yes, he has. Speak in the lead. Mick Sauter comes barreling down into turn one, muscles his way past 601 and Jim Atwell, who now tries to get back at him on the inside line. 608, 152, 152 holds second position. Atwell in third. Rob Speak's away. He's got the win. It's now a question to see whether Mick Sauter can hold on to second. Yes, he can. It's a win for Rob Speak. The 218 car crosses the line first. In second position, Mick Sauter. In third position, Jim Atwell, the man who led the majority of that race. Absolutely nip and tuck racing here in the Formula 2s. That's why they're as popular as they are. But how's that for showmanship? Jim Atwell brings it to a rather nice pirouetted halt right in front of the starters gantry. Well done to him. Excellent win for Rob Speak, particularly after having to rebuild his car in the pits as he did. We saw him earlier on. And 152, Mick Sauter battling once more. So kind of business as usual in the Formula 2s. A win going to Rob Speak, in second Mick Sauter, and this the king of the oval, third place to Jim Atwell.
These really are proper race cars, and the guys who race them are amongst the most dedicated you'll find anywhere. And there are plenty of them. There are over 500 registered Formula 2 stock car drivers in Britain. That means at an average meeting you'll get 50 to 60. At a big meeting you'll get upwards of 100. That guarantees at least 25 cars on track. Now when you consider that the top guys have got to get through all that lot to win, it really proves if you can take the checker flag in one of these, you can take it in anything. So let's have a look at some more action.
It's Heat 2 for the Formula 2s, and another large field of cars assembling on the grid, ready to get under starters' orders. Very popular here at the Northampton International Raceway Stadium, the most heavily populated form of motorsport that we see up here. Once again, colour-coded from experience, and keeping an eye open for the gold top car of Rob Speak from Manchester. The guy has a reputation for carving his way through the field. No doubt he will not be disappointing this afternoon. Broad sunshine and a nice, dry, clear track. That'll be good news for the Formula 2 driver. Sometimes they complain when they have to race at the same time as the bagger drivers, who tend to leave body parts, I mean the cars, you understand, engine fluids and all sorts of other things down on the track. It makes it an absolute lottery as to who's going to win the races as a result. Darren Pearson and Kevin Walker scrapping for track position there as they come out of turn 4. It's the 712 car that gets the upper hand though. Darren Pearson going through. 85 has managed to come through whilst those two are scrapping. That's Colin Dunford from Beaujeu. Keep your eye on him. He could well be a race winner. Don't worry about this lot. They're managing to fall over each other. They're, oh dear. Anybody got a spanner? 591 and 75. They'll need some major surgery to extricate themselves. That's a big thump up on the exit to turn 3 and into turn 4. Can't quite see who that is. I think it's Mark Clayton in 720 from Chesterfield. 712 going through there. Very nearly getting tagged by 85. That's Colin Dunford really putting the 712 car of Darren Pearson under some pressure. Bit of tyre smoke from 712 as he comes under pressure from Dunford. Dunford's taken the inside line, which has given him more track position. allows him to attack on the entrance to turn 1, and he's right up on 712's bumper. In fact, he's going to tail him down the line. He's going to take it down into turn 3. Yes, a final spurt of acceleration. Pearson has to brake, otherwise he's going to be in the wall, and that allows Colin Dunford to go through into the lead for this second heat for the Formula 2s. Now, this is what motor racing is all about. Nip and tuck. Full contact allowed, but very little in real terms goes on. 911 just spinning fairly harmlessly out of turn 3 and through turn 4. 121 coming through fairly quickly there, it's got to be said, in the middle of the order. And straight away into back markers, which will arrest his further advance. 712, Darren Pearson gets it all horribly wrong, has to brake hard there to get out of the way of the following cars. 85, Colin Dunford coming round. This is the last lap. Excellent result for Colin Dunford as he crosses the line to take the win in Heat 2. In second position, the number 900 car, 900 of Bryn Thomas. And in third position, 308, Kevin Walker. We saw him scrapping at the start of the race. In the reddish base car, takes third position. Just getting ready for the restart now. For reasons of safety, they get these cars up to racing speed before they put the green flag out, and racing is allowed to continue. Quite a lot of horsepower from these Formula 2 cars. There's Rob Speak, there's Mick Sauder at the back of the field. Watch them carve their way through. The most experienced men start from the back of the field. So off we go once more. Remember, full course contact allowed. This is only a quarter-mile circuit. Oh, sandwich job going on. 151, Gary Maynard nearly went airborne off the back of Rob Speak's car. Mick Sauder on the inside, up against Maynard, with these two going absolutely hammer and tongs. The white top 446 going round as preliminary race leader. And quite a big gap, actually, before the rest of the field comes barreling through. Oh, more contact, 720 and 821. Inexperience showing through. 720 Mark Clayton from Chesterfield getting badly hooked up on the car in front of him. That allows the rest of the field to come through. 821 there, the other car involved in that incident, Gary Walker from Rotherham. And now all sorts of contact going on in the lower order of the field as cars jostle for position. 721 definitely getting edged out. There's Rob Speak, there's Mick Sauder. And here comes the rest of the pack. Now look at the drifting technique as you come out of these turns. The idea is to go tight round the turns 1, 2, 3 and 4, and then wide down the main straightaways, of which the Northampton International Raceway Stadium is blessed with 2. 29 goes through the picture there from 446. 29, that's Chad Harris from Nuneaton. There's Rob Speak in 218 coming through the field. There's Mick Sauder right on his back bumper in the 152 car. Just keep your eyes on these two. They are likely to be the main protagonists, but there's not much of the race left. Have they got enough time and track space to get through to the top 3 positions? I'm not quite sure whether that's going to happen. They're a long way back. They need to be much, much further than they are towards the front. Chris Roots from Farnborough in 677. Sauder and Speak, now if they're intelligent, they won't be trying to take each other out. They're in fact helping each other towards the front of the field. And we're now into final lap time. I think even they have left it too late. Possibly one more lap to go. We're certainly down to our last couple. 446 now getting well and truly deposed by first Sauder and then Speak. 720 up at the front. Checkered flag time for Chad Harris from Nuneaton in car 29. 677 there. Chris Roots from Farnborough gets second. And in 183 through goes Mark Ginchard. The 183 car coming through, taking third position.
More stock car racing right after this break. Welcome back to part 2 of the Stock Car Show. Coming up in this half, we'll be taking a look at one of the new formula that has sprung up in the ovals, one that's caused quite a stir, the Rebels. If I told you that a car using the engine from a Reliant three-wheeler could be quick and entertaining, you'd probably laugh. If I then told you that the same car had no suspension and was designed with contact in mind, you'd think I was mad, but you'd be wrong. Meet the Rebels. Based on a very heavy-duty steel chassis with a fiberglass body that's a 5/8 replica of a 1947 Ford Popular, the Rebels are powered by 850cc Reliant engines that have been reworked to give about 64 brake horsepower. Suspension, if you can call it that, is basic. It utilises rubber sandwich blocks and trailing links with no modifications allowed. In fact, anyone caught cheating in the Rebels is immediately banned. That effectively rules out the checkbook racer, and the only thing you can do with these little cars is drive them. So let's have a look at some of them in action.
And away we go into race 1. Very big field of cars, but already they're getting big time sideways. Now these are the cars that you can come and hire yourself at the International Raceway Stadium. Cost you about 150 notes if you want to come and race for an afternoon. And believe me, you'll certainly find out where the men and the boys are when you race in Rebels. Car 36 getting out of shape. Whoa, there's an airborne triple Salker with a toe loop as well. Wimbledon-based Richard Malem losing the liner from his front wheel. Let's just have another look at that. Gets completely airborne off the back of the red car. Loses the sidewall, the spare sidewall that they put on these cars. Takes out 217 in the process. Andy Kennedy from Breaston. But back in the race once more we go with these Rebels. Now that's not the way to do it. No sooner do we get started than number 16, Pete Jenkins, decides he's going to do a Harrier jump jet short takeoff and nearly ends up in the crowd as a result. There's a somewhat sad looking car there. Marshall's retrieving the bits and pieces under a full course yellow now, waiting for the green flag to get once more up to race speed. I don't think we've got much of the race under our belts yet. It's obviously a war of attrition. Who told these Reliant drivers that instead of racing Rebels, they were racing baggers? Car 43 up at the front there. That's Mark Tooby from Hatton. He's a well-experienced Rebel driver. And number 7 in second position, Greg Jenkins from Westfields there. Just losing position to 53, Graham Charlesworth from Brownhills. Takes the inside line. These are very grippy cars, actually. We haven't got much in the way of bodily fluids from bangers on the circuit, so there's not much sliding going on. 33 doing a fair amount of bouncing. He's going to be in the wall if he's not careful. That's Andy Milner from Tamworth, and he'll have lost a few places as a result. There's our race leader, Mark Tooby, coming through in car 43. And not many laps left in this first heat of the programme this afternoon. In fact, I think he may well be on to his final lap. If not now, then certainly in the next circuit or two. Quarter-mile short course circuit here at the Northampton International Raceway Stadium, being run in anti-clockwise order. There's a spinner there. Number 7 coming through the throng there, and I think that car's been damaged. It's not moving very quickly at all. Let's have a look again and see whether we can find out what exactly happened. Have a spinner in the front of the field. 33 goes very, very wide indeed and clangs number 7. Oh, into the wall he goes. That'll have deranged the front suspension. No problem whatsoever. So into the final closing moments of this particular Heat 1 for the Racing Rebels. It's going to be the win for Mark Tooby, barring accidents. Doesn't often make them up here. There he goes through to take the win. Car 43, Mark Tooby gets the win. In second position, Graham Charlesworth in 53. And from Coventry, number 23, Mark Rogers. And that car, number 77, David Yap from Pelsall, trying to go in 3 directions at once. And still 33 and 16 trying to go sideways rather than forwards, which isn't really the way that you want to race a Rebel. Still, good entertainment for the crowd.
As we've just seen, one of the great strengths of this formula is the fact that all the cars are so equal. What happens out on that track is down to the skill of the driver and the way he uses that front bumper. Because just because the speeds are slower, make no mistake, this is proper stock car racing. Personally, I had a few doubts about the Rebels at first. I mean, they do look a bit strange, don't they? But after watching them for a few years and speaking to loads of the drivers, there's no doubt about it, they are a cracking formula. And I've got no doubt they'll be around for a long, long time.
A large field of Rebels, over 20 cars taking the start for this Heat 2 of Northants Motorsport. We'll show you the finals next week. But we just get up to racing speed now, waiting for the waved green flags to say, yes boys, you may go. Very short wheelbase, quite twitchy cars, easy to clang them coming out of the corners, and you'll see plenty of that going on, no doubt, in their second heat this afternoon. There you go, no sooner have I said it than it happens. 3 into 2 definitely won't go, and number 3 definitely out of contention. Darren Clark from Haverhill decides that's it, game over. I don't think he's actually completed a racing lap yet. 33, we saw him earlier on. Andy Milner and Bob Moss in 82. Both sideways, almost as one, a synchronous pair. and both out of the race. Now look at this, there's an enormous, great mobile chicane building up as these cars swerve in avoidance. Let's see it again. 82 goes sideways, 33 goes sideways, 23 pushes 82 down the track and gets nerfed up the back end by 33 Andy Milner. Meanwhile, poor old number 30 gets caught up in the melee and just gets delayed. 827 gets away, Darrell Whitfield from Markfield. And still the racing continues. 82 waiting for a position so that he can insert himself back into the race. Or has his car actually stalled? I think that's the case. 56, oh, doing a Torvill and Dean. Not the place to do it coming out of turn 4. Well, that's resourceful. I suppose you can reverse your way around the track if you want, but you aren't going to go as fast as going forwards. Oh, this is not banger racing, but you'd be forgiven for thinking that it was. Full contact allowed in the Rebels. The Rebel yell, I think, and the yelling is of the driver as he sees the entire field coming barreling down to him at full speed. Dave Morley from Belper in number 8 just disappearing there. 53, Graham Charlesworth from Brownhill, so we saw him at the front of the race last time, but that's not the way to do it, Graham Charlesworth. Now, what's it done to his steering? Is he able to continue at race speed? Looks like it. 56 going sideways, sideways again and clouting somebody in the process. They really are built very solidly, these cars. I have driven one in the past and I can assure you every single last bump gets transferred straight through the driver's body. A lot of these guys will be in hot showers or baths this evening trying to rest tired and aching muscles. 58 in your picture, David Moores from Oxford. Relatively trouble-free, but that might well change as Mark Rogers and Coventry in the 23 car comes by. Just looking to tap them out. 58, that's actually your race leader. And I think he's on his final lap. Yes, he is. We got confirmation. David Moores from Oxford holding the leading position. Will he hold it? Yes, he does. Manages to see off 77 David Yap for second position. And as 85 Nigel Wibberley spins on the slowing down lap, I can tell you that in third position this afternoon, he was in second for the first heat. Graham Charlesworth in car number 53. So plenty of activity, quite a lot of controversy in the Rebel racing.
Well, that's it for me this week. If you want to see any of the formula we feature here on the Stock Car Show, the simple answer is get yourself down to your local stock car track. Until then, I'll be back with some more action next week.